sex toys can actually transmit HIV, chlamydia, for gonorrhea, and for HPV. And some people share them. I don't know. Can you share a sex toy? Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's another day, another episode, and today we're gonna learn about sex toys, HIV, and STIs. And my question to you is, do you think sex toys actually transmit HIV? So sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. I don't know what you call them. Maybe you call it a dildo, maybe you call them sex toys, but it's all one big happy family, okay? And they are used for different reasons by different people. Maybe some people use them for their own selves, for their own self-pleasure. Some people use them with their partners, and some people share them. I don't know. Can you share a sex toy? Like clothes. You can say, borrow me your Rose or something. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But today's video is really about unpacking the aspect of HIV transmission with sex toys. So yes, indeed, sex toys can actually transmit HIV if shared between partners. Okay, so it's not like a dress you're gonna ask somebody to lend you or a trouser. No. However, the overall risk is low. And transmission basically happens when fresh HIV infected body fluids like blood, semen, and vaginal fluids remain on a toy and immediately come into contact with a mucous membrane or broken skin on another person. Let me tell you that in simpler terms. So HIV exists in 3 body fluids: blood, semen, vaginal fluids. And if you are sharing and your partner has a tear, for example, in their private parts, and you share with them, and maybe like you're sharing a sex toy, or you are together and using it with each other, it could cause a transmission. The chances are really minimal. The risk is very low, but the risk is there. Okay, it's just the same way with oral sex and kissing. Kissing has 0 risk, by the way. 0 risk is kissing. Don't come and tell me, what if the person has wounds? Why are you kissing people with wounds? Why? For what reason? Also, don't tell me about oral sex has its own risks, but for other diseases, maybe some STIs and some types of cancers, but not for HIV. The risk is also very much minimal. So how does the risk work for transmission on HIV through sex toys? The survival outside the body basically for HIV is very tiny, okay? So HIV cannot survive outside the human body for a very long time. So if the fluid dries on the toy, the virus will quickly die and it will become inactive. So again, transmission risk, minimal. Immediate sharing. So if the primary risk occurs if the toy is used between a HIV positive person who is not undetectable, okay? And is covered in wet body fluids and is then immediately shared with a HIV negative partner, the risk is there, okay? And then for other STIs, while HIV transmission from sex toys is rare, other sexually transmitted infections like chlamydia, gonorrhea, or HPV. HPV is human papilloma virus, and it is the virus that causes cervical cancer in women. They are much more easily transmitted through sex toys. So for HIV, the risk is lower. For other STIs, the risk is very much higher, and that is specifically for chlamydia, for gonorrhea, and for HPV. Okay, so how do you stay safe? When you have your sex toys, drum rolls, okay? If you're sharing the sex toy with a partner, the easiest way to prevent fluid exchange is to place a new condom over the toy. Yes, you can actually put condoms on a sex toy. I just think it depends with the toy because I don't think you can put a condom on a rose. And there's that other one shaped like a hammer. I don't even know how that one works. But still, you should normalize putting condoms over sex toys, okay? A fresh condom, I beg. And then always clean your sex toys thoroughly. Please ensure that you wash your sex toys before and after use with warm water. Can you add lemon? Okay, that lemon part is me just thinking out loud, but maybe you can add lemon for disinfectant, or maybe use something like Dettol or stuff. I think, yeah, for disinfection. And yeah, and they've said here use antibacterial soap or a specialized sex toy cleaner, because there are specialized sex toy cleaners. Also, the material matters. Okay, so materials like silicone, glass, or stainless steel are much easier to sanitize than materials like rubber, jelly, or PVC. Do you people know what PVC is? PVC is, I don't know how to explain it, but it is a sort of material, okay? And there are sex toys that are made out of that. So these ones can trap bacteria. So the stainless steel that are more like metallic, like, I have never seen a metallic sex toy. And the silicone ones and the glass ones, those are easier to clean because they're easier to sanitize. But the other ones made out of rubber, so your roses, because ladies, I know you love the rose. I do. I am gonna own one. It is in my bucket list. And those ones also made out of jelly. The jelly ones are the ones that are very shaky. When you hold them, they're very shaky. Okay, they're wavy. So they can trap bacteria and viruses, those specific ones. So basically, there is no risk of HIV transmission. There is 0 to no risk for HIV transmission from sharing toys if you're using them solely on your own body. So if you're using the toy for self-gratification, there is no risk. Nobody is going to, you are not going to get anything. It is just you. Just ensure that you don't get infections out of it, especially for the women, by cleaning it very thoroughly. And I said earlier that when you're using a sex toy, it's easy to get an STI. So we are going to unpack the STIs a little bit and then wind down the video itself. So sex toys can transmit other STIs. I said earlier, HPV, chlamydia, and gonorrhea, because while HIV dies quickly outside bodies, many other bacteria, viruses, and parasites survive longer on surfaces. They survive longer. So for that reason, some STIs commonly transmitted via sex toys are HPV, the human papilloma virus. This one can be passed directly via skin-to-skin contact or through contaminated surfaces. So a contaminated surface could be the both of you have used this one and it has your things on there. You did not put the condom. So obviously it still remains, your body fluids remains. And so that means that you get to pass HPV on to each other. And for women, this actually can cause cervical cancer. Chlamydia and gonorrhea are the second one. So these are bacterial infections and they live in bodily fluids, okay? And they can easily transfer if a toy is shared without being cleaned. So be careful about that. A lot of STIs show up differently in men and in women. In men, some of them show up with very aggressive signs and symptoms. In women, they might just be very quiet and they only come to realize way later. They also can transmit genital herpes, which is also called HSV. It is a sexually transmitted infection. So this one is transmitted through contact with infected fluids or tiny micro tears. Again, as I said earlier, that sometimes people have small tears in the genital area and sometimes it's not visible with the common eye, okay? And that's why also even for oral sex, it's very highly transmittable when it comes to some type of cancers and sexually transmitted infections. We also have something called trichomoniasis. That one I do not know it. It is new. I am just finding out. So this one is it's also kind of a parasite, and it survives on damp objects like toys for short periods. So again, when you are using your toys, you can always, if you have like a private balcony, you can put them out there to get some sort of vitamin D. Okay, yeah. And hepatitis B and C. A lot of you people underestimate hepatitis B and C because they're also sexually transmitted infections. And they can actually be transmitted through sex toys. Okay? So there's sometimes traces of amount of infected blood or fluids left on the toys. Because again, these toys catch our bodily fluids. Okay, so basically, if you are sharing a toy, if you're sharing a sex toy on an infected area, moving it to a partner's body creates a direct bridge for the infection. So if you're sharing a toy, if I have a rose and then I give it to somebody else to use it, it's a risky affair. Okay, risk factors go up specifically for STIs. So prevention, to completely prevent the elimination risk of STI transmission while using sex toys, again, use a condom. I know a lot of you people think condoms are specifically just for sex amongst each other, or rather sex with partners, and some of you don't even like condoms. But please, condoms are really the only prevention method that prevent STIs, HIV, and unplanned pregnancy. 3 in 1, a very hardworking queen and king. That is why we have two, the female and the male one. Except the female condom will not work on a sex toy. So basically, we just have to use the male condom. And the thing about male condom is they have flavors. We even have watermelon, avocado, all those. So you can always use the male condoms on different sex toys. And also, please, before switching partners, because you could be using these toys on different partners, wash it with warm water and antibacterial soap. Wash it with warm water and antibacterial soap. Okay? So, and basically, some of them, like the medical grade silicone ones or the glass ones, a dedicated sex toy cleaner can be used, or boiling water can be used for deep cleaning. So deep clean it, okay? Always ensure that you are protecting yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with having sex. The issue is the prevention aspect of having sex, because a lot of the time sex has a lot of risk factors, and it's not just HIV, it's the other STIs as well, and some of them don't have treatment. Some of them, like the human papilloma virus, they proceed on to cause cervical cancer in women. That is all from my desk in terms of HIV prevention and STI prevention, and the aspect of using sex toys while preventing yourself. So it's not about just pleasure, it's also preventable pleasure. Okay, until next week, don't forget to comment. Let me know your thoughts and if you learned something new. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one from me and my sex toy. Goodbye.